The guy that I've been dating for the past 3 months is married with...
I was part of one of the biggest catfishing scandals of the fucking century, and if you haven't heard about it, you're hearing about it now.
I cannot make this up. I cannot make this up. Imagine, first date with a man. You hit it off.
I fear I have a story time that's been brewing for years now, and I'm finally ready to tell it because this was the most insane first date I have ever gone on.
Ooh, today, gossipers, we have 6 tasty story times to sink our teeth into. Grab your drink and let's get into the tea. First up, we have a woman who found out the real reason the man she'd been dating for 3 months mysteriously disappeared each and every weekend. Next, we have a woman who went on an amazing date that ended abruptly, only for her date to be yanked out of her car in the middle of traffic. And then, a woman who uncovered the truth about who Nico Copeland really was and why his name became a global phenomenon. And finally, a woman who endured a disastrous first date where her date's main and only focus was to get a kiss. Ew, creepy. Now, these are real stories, real people, so let's get into it.
The guy that I've been dating for the past 3 months is married with 2 kids. So I met this man on Bumble in December, and we went on our first date in January, and everything was seemingly fabulous. He was super handsome, had a good job, he was a little older, and so I like him. And I thought nothing of it because our very first day I asked him, have you ever been married or had kids? And if you know me, you know I don't care if you have children. I don't care if you've been married before. I don't want kids. So if you've already had them, that's amazing for me. You got it out of the way. But this full-grown man, let's call him Alex, because that's his actual name, told me no, he's never been married, he's never had children. And I didn't ask questions further on the first date. I believe on our second or third date, we got a little more deeper with the convo, and I said, why? Have you never been married? Have you ever been engaged? And this man basically told me it has never worked out that way. He has had long-term partners who've lived with him, but it's never gone beyond that. Mind you, I pride myself on my FBI skills, and at this point I had already looked up his number, but it was not traceable back to his name because he was foreign and from a different country. We proceeded to date and be intimate and have deep chats, and nothing seemed to be wrong other than a couple red flags that I was looking past. One of them being I'd never been to his apartment, and the other one being he does not prioritize me on the weekends. No big deal, he's a very busy man, and we're early in the stages of dating. I don't expect you to give me every Saturday night. But when I confronted him about not seeing his apartment yet and asked, jokingly, do you have a wife and kids that you're hiding from me? He joked back and said, no, I prefer the scenario where I'm a secret agent and you don't know that part of my life yet. So funny and witty, Alex. Fast forward to a couple weeks ago, the week of my birthday, he tried to make plans with me and squeeze me into like a 2-hour window because he was very busy and constantly having work dinners and whatnot. I told him I'd rather him make time for me specifically and not squeeze me into his schedule. He obliged, set a date, and eventually pushed back that date and canceled it altogether. This man travels a lot for work. He also had previously told me that he's been traveling back and forth between Europe and the US because some of his family members are sick and for work-related reasons. So he canceled the date 2 days before my birthday, and I didn't answer because I'm very annoyed at this point. And then he texted me the following day and said, hey, I have a lot on my plate right now. If you'd like, we could talk on the phone about it. I, being the sassy little Aries that I am, said, hey, I'd rather not be upset on my birthday. Could we save this conversation for next week? He says he understands and assures me that it's nothing upsetting and he'll talk to me next week. Now, a week goes by. He didn't tell me happy birthday. Shocker there. And I text him, hi, are you waiting for me to reach out or are you planning on reaching out to me like you said? To which he replies, sorry, I'm still in Europe. I can call you next week. A week later? I said, I'm sorry, you're making me extremely anxious right now. Can you just tell me what's going on? And he says, Sorry, still working on New York time. I can call you this weekend. Sir, at this point it's a Wednesday. I'm gonna have a panic attack. At this point, my mind is running rampant of all the ideas that this could be. Did one of his family members die? Is he dating somebody in Europe? Does he have to move? I don't know what's happening. Finally, after me continuing to tell him how uncomfortable he's making me by withholding this information from me, that seems like a big deal, he agrees to call me in an hour. An hour goes by, I'm anxiously waiting. He gives me a phone call. I answer. Hello. Hi, let me just jump to the chase. Thank you. He says, there are some things that you don't know about me, which is crazy and manipulative because I don't know them about you because guess what? You didn't tell me them, okay? It's not like I didn't do my research. You didn't tell me them. He says, I'm 42, which I knew. I'm married, I have 2 children, and I'm going through a really messy divorce right now. So sad for you. Tells me he has his children on the weekend and that's why he doesn't see me on the weekends. Oh my god, everything's adding up. Thank you so much. He told me he's really sorry, but he wasn't ready to share that private part of his life yet. That private part of his life where he has 2 offspring and a legal binding marriage. He also tells me that his mother's in the hospital and he's been going through a lot in the past year because he lost his job and had to get a new one. Mind you, he told me that he's been at this job for 15 plus years. So at this point, I don't know what's true, what's not. He's been lying to me this entire time and sleeping with me, which is the grossest thing of it all. Like, who even are you? Who even are you in my bed right now? Yuck. And the worst thing about the situation is that he just gets to keep living his life like nothing happened. He gets to traumatize people, bring them into his shitty whirlwind of a life, and just keep it pushing. And we're just supposed to sit back and take this shit and just be like, well, I should have Googled him more. Well, I should have found his information. Men are fucking terrible. Like, all you do is take from us. Look, I'm glad I found out when I did, because honestly, 3 months is not that much time. We weren't boyfriend and girlfriend. We weren't exclusive. But it's just shitty that we constantly have to be on the lookout for liars, cheaters, people are going to manipulate us, and we just want to have fun and find someone who likes me and tells me I'm pretty. Like, is it that fucking hard to just be a decent human being? Like, I don't understand. Instead of wallowing in self-pity and wondering, why me? I'm gonna get back on the freaking horse and I'm going on a first date with a cute little man to go play mini golf right now. So, we're getting ready. And Alex, if you see this, I pray that you don't do this to any other woman. And most of all, I pray that one of your 2 children is not a daughter, because what a terrible example of a father that you are. Okay, love you, bye.
I was part of one of the biggest catfishing scandals of the fucking century, and if you haven't heard about it, you're hearing about it now. I am not by any means the most affected victim in this situation, but I have a slight platform and I want to try what I can to get this word across. So the only dating app I have is Raya. I even tried to cancel that, but once you cancel your subscription, you lose your membership, and I'm like, fuck. What if I want to get back on it? So I kept it, whatever. But that's the only dating app I have. I don't use it. However, it's supposed to be secure, right? You have to upload your ID, you have to submit your social medias, all this thing. It took me 6 months to get on. And you have to fucking pay for it, mind you. I matched with a guy maybe in December. We did not talk much. We had one conversation that was maybe 5 messages. He was nothing more than an Instagram follower to me at this point. He was a loyal like. I could always count on him to swipe up and say, you looked good in your recent Instagram post. Hey, thanks, man. End of conversation. I knew nothing about this man. I just knew he was objectively attractive. I didn't have enough conversations with him to care if he was real or not, but obviously I never even questioned it because I matched with him on Raya. His name? Nico Copeland. I would show you who he was posing as, but I feel like that person's privacy has been infringed upon way too much. In fact, spread to thousands and thousands. I just posted an Instagram photo yesterday. Go look if you haven't. I don't give a fuck. That was like my first post where it was just solely me looking Betty T, Betty Awesome. But this Nico Copeland slides into my DMs and is like, oh, nice recent. Hey, thanks, man. I literally just told my roommate, I was like, this man's so weird. He always slides into my DMs, but he never has a conversation. He's weird. Well, that's the extent of my situation. However, I woke up as a member of a 200-woman group chat on Instagram titled Nico Copeland is a Catfish. I wasn't fucking surprised. I was like, oh damn, that's funny. That's fucking crazy. But then I got to reading, and some of these girls are truly victims. This group chat is one of many. One girl in particular, her name is Izzy, and I will at her down below. She took it upon herself to find out everything about this man when she realized he's not fucking real. After she found out who he is, who his family is, where he lives, all this stuff, she took it upon herself to go through the 1,000 plus girls in this man's Instagram following to add them to group chats and warn them about this. But Instagram only allows you to do like 200 people at a time. So she's making separate group chats. I just happen to be in one of them. Her situation, pretty sure she's going to post a story time, but she basically drove to meet this man, went out of her way, showed up at an address that he gave her, and then he blocked her. There's another girl that was talking to him for 2 years. There's another girl that knew the man behind it. Also, I'll show the man at the end. I'll show the man. One girl knew the man personally, and he used this fake account to get to her. He knew her in person as himself, the chud he is, but he used this conventionally attractive photos to prey on her. Also, girls are in this group chat from all different dating platforms: Tinder, Hinge, Raya, Bumble. And I wish I could say, it's in this area. No, it's all around the world, guys. This man, this Nico Copeland, was in New York. Hey, New York, Texas, Florida, Hawaii, but it doesn't stop there. No, he was in London. He was in Australia. There is not a woman on this earth that this man did not want to talk to. Oh, and we got him good, guys. Mainly Izzy. She really doubled down. So much to say about this. Granted, I'm in class and I'm at work, so I'm not fully updated on the group chat. But if you guys want to know anything else, or if anything else comes up, I can tell you. Or Izzy. Like, if you are interested, she probably knows everything. One thing I think that is wonderful is how united women can be. It gave me faith in humanity that girls do exist. And I found them in this group chat. Everyone's looking out for each other and everyone's just loving each other. Honestly, thank you to this mentally ill individual, because you united hundreds of girls. So his name is Neve, and don't worry, I'm pretty sure messages have already been sent to all of his family members. And he's very aware, because he actually got added to our group chat and sent this. To which most of the girls are not taking that. Most of the girls are bullying him, but sometimes bullying is necessary. Anywho, I'm really sorry to all the girls that actually feel cheated and lied to about this. Also, I want to point out that Raya, get your fucking act together. I pay money to be on your app. I don't even really want to be on the app. It's not really that good. And your whole thing is it's exclusive. Yeah, well, clearly anyone can fucking get on.
I cannot make this up. I cannot make this up. Imagine, first date with a man. You hit it off. Great energy. Date runs long. And you have a graduation party to get to. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, you want to come with me to my homegirl's graduation party? He's like, okay, yeah, sure. But I don't want to show up empty-handed, so we stop at the Target. Another green flag, because we've been hitting it off. Okay, great. We stop at Target. He gets her a card. We go to the graduation party. I introduce him to my friend. Cool. We go to my car. We're getting into my car. He's saying like, oh yeah, can you drop me off at the mall? Like whatever. Fine, because he allegedly Ubered an hour to get to me because he lives far out, not in the city. This man gets in my car. All of a sudden, a woman comes up. Out of the blue. I don't know where this woman was. She comes up and she yanks open my passenger side door. She's like, what the F are you doing? Get up. Come with me right now. Come with me right now. Get up. Get up. You're coming with me. At first I thought she was joking. And at first I thought it was like she saw him from afar, thought he was fine. Came into the car, was like, you're coming with me. You're coming with me. Because he was just like, chill. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cute. Like, he's fine. Okay, period, sis. But like, not too much. But then she gets rowdy. She's like, get out the car, and yanks this full-grown size man and yanks him out the car. So I'm like, oh, y'all know each other. Takes him out the car. Bella, my car, is here. Her car is here. I'm T-boned in. I cannot move. There's a car in front of me. So all I can do is sit and look in my rear view at her beating. Just beating his ass. Just beating his ass. And I'm like, I turn my music down so I can hear what's being said. I can't hear nothing, but just going. And I'm like, what the heck? I didn't have the word. Like, I know the words that happen so fast, and I cannot move. So I'm sitting here, waiting for her to finish his beating. Finally, they start to back up. They pull up beside me. I'm looking like this. And he goes. And they drive off. And I just didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Because clearly that's your girl. We talked about cheating. We talked about red flags. We talked about green flags. He had passed a lot of, like, he had a good head on his shoulders, I thought. We talked about cheating in 30 minutes. We talked about emotional versus physical cheating. And she picked him up and yanked him out of the passenger side. And they drove off, and then he texted me, "What are you doing?" What am I doing? I'm coping. I'm done with men. Especially light skins. I can't.
I fear I have a story time that's been brewing for years now, and I'm finally ready to tell it because this was the most insane first date I have ever gone on. So we'll start off. I matched with Homeboy on Hinge probably like 2.5 years ago. Yeah, he looked pretty fine. His profile was cool. He's like an anime illustrator and all of that. We had great conversation. He invited me out to a cabaret. One thing about me is I love the idea of a cabaret, never been to a cabaret. So the fact that he invited me to one, I was like, take my money. I'll pay for my ticket. Take me to the cabaret. I would love to see a cabaret in person. Fast forward to the date. He tells me where to meet him. I meet him there. I get there and I cannot find this man. And then I see someone that kind of resembles him, but I'm like, that's not him. Because in his profile pictures, he had a full-on beard. And this doesn't even look like a man. Turns out that was him. He shaved the beard off. Word of advice, if your pictures have you in only a beard, show up to the date with your beard. Maybe. Nonetheless, I get there. I'm dressed like a grown woman and he's dressed normal, but the beard being gone, he just looks like a 15-year-old boy and I look like a grown woman. I look like I'm grooming this man, even though he's older than me. I digress. We get there. He's like, oh, I didn't realize I needed tickets for this thing. So we are going to be in general admission line. I don't mind standing in line. That didn't bother me. I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, let's just stand in line and wait. I have like social anxiety a little bit. So I don't like when people know that I'm on a first date. But this man is talking so loud. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe we're on our first date. I'm so excited to be on our first date. And people are looking at us and I'm just like, oh my God, shut the fuck up. Finally, we get inside. We go to the bar. He's like, oh, do you want a drink? And I'm like, yeah. Can I get an espresso martini with tequila? He gets me my espresso martini. He gets himself a drink. Did not hear what he ordered. We cheers. We're drinking, yada, yada. We both finish our drink. He asks me if I want another one. And I'm like, yeah, why not? So he gets me another one and he gets himself an espresso martini with tequila as well. The drink he had before was more like I want to say like mango-y, or it was orange colored. So it was fruity. That's not a bad thing though. So he goes to go take a sip of his espresso martini and this man looks like he's in pain. Dire pain. I was like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I don't really drink. And I was like, so why'd you get an espresso martini? What did you drink before? He was like, oh, that was a mocktail. I was like, so why didn't you get another mocktail? He's like, because you're drinking. And I was like, listen, buddy, no peer pressure here. If you don't drink, you don't drink. You do not have to drink because I'm drinking. That's not going to bother me. If you want to have a mocktail, or even if you just want a glass of juice, drink your glass of juice. I'm happy in my espresso martini. But don't put yourself through this pain if you don't want to. And he's like, okay, you want the rest? So he gives me the rest of his espresso martini. Cabaret's good and well, whatever. We leave. He's like, are you hungry? I'm like, oh, yeah, actually. Let's go get food. So we go to dinner. We're sitting at dinner. Dinner is fine. It's towards the end of dinner that we're talking, and I'm telling him, like, I forget what story I'm telling him, but I'm telling him a story. And as you can tell from this story, I use my hands to talk. And homeboy, as I'm talking, he's like, and reaches for my hands and like clasps my hands. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I just wanted to hold hands while we talk. And I was like, I'm using them. He's like, oh, but I just thought it would be romantic. I was like, I get it. But like, I'm literally telling you a story with my hands. I don't want to do that. And he's like, okay. So then the restaurant is closing. The waiter comes over to give us the bill, basically. He gives him the bill. And as he gives him the bill, he goes to reach out of his pocket to get his wallet. And I don't know if these were thoughts that were supposed to happen in here, but they were happening out here. He goes, I hope I have enough. I hope I have enough. I hope I have enough. And I'm sitting there like this. I'm looking at the waiter. The waiter's looking at me. And I'm just like, I might need to pull out my wallet. Gives the man his credit card. Thank God the man had enough. He's like, oh, do you want to go? And I'm like, yeah, actually, I think it's time for me to go home. He's like, can I walk you to the train? Train's like 15 minutes away. Yeah, sure, why not? Walk me to the train. So we start walking to the train, and he's like, I have a question to ask you. And I'm like, sure, what's up? He's like, I'm just a little too embarrassed to ask you this question. And I was like, what do you mean? Just ask the question. And he's like, can I kiss you? And I was like, no. He's like, okay. So we keep walking, we're talking, yada, yada. Then at this point, I really need to use the bathroom. So we're walking by a bar, and I'm like, it's either I go into this bar and use the bathroom now, or I get on the train and have to hold it for like an hour before I get home. So I'm like, I'm just going to go to this bar. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to run in there so I can use the bathroom. He's like, okay. So I run in. There's 2 bathrooms. I don't know if this part of the story is relevant, but there's 2 bathrooms. I go into one. The other one is open. He doesn't go in. I come out of the bathroom, and he goes into the bathroom that I was in. I was like, there was a whole second bathroom you could have used. But while he's using the bathroom, I'm like, I can't believe this is what's happening right now. So let me just grab another drink. So I get another drink, and I'm going to down it pretty quickly. And I'm signing to pay for my drink. He comes out, and they're like playing jazz music. And all of a sudden, in the corner of my eye, as I'm like this, signing my check, I see in the corner of my eye, this. Like, he is breakdancing in a jazz club. I was like, this cannot be real. So I chug my drink, and I'm like, okay, let's go. We're like 2 minutes from the train now. He says, oh, can I kiss you on the cheek? No, before that, he asked me, he's like, can I ask you another question? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. He's like, no, I'm too embarrassed. I don't want to ask. And I'm like, man, if you don't ask this damn question. He's like, it's the same question as before. Can I kiss you? And I was like, no. The answer is still no. And he was like, can I kiss you on the cheek? And I was like, you know what? Fine. Kiss me on the cheek. I lied. Something happened before that. He asked if he could hold my hand, and I already felt bad for the guy, so I was like, yeah, go ahead. Hold my hand. We don't even like interlock fingers. We hold our hands like this, like friends hold hands. And as soon as our hands clasp, he goes with the other hand. I said, oh, am I this man's first bad bitch? Never be a man's first bad bitch. Anyways, so then fast forward, that thing happens where he asks about the kiss, and then he asks to kiss me on the cheek. And I say, yes, you can kiss me on the cheek because we're at the train now and it's time for me to go home. And I like turn my cheek so he can plant one right there, and he like swivels his head to go kiss me on the lips, and what are you doing? He goes, and I quote, I thought you'd be drunk enough that you wouldn't care. I looked at him in such distress, disgust, and fear. And I said, you should probably never say that to a woman again. And at this moment, I'm getting on that train and leaving. Please don't get on the train with me. I don't care if we're going in the same direction. Wait for the next train. Never speak to me again. And I proceeded to get on the train and go home. So that was my horror story of a first date, like 2.5 years ago. I did run into him at like a street festival, and I saw him and I was like, oh my God, I have to act like I don't see him. And I was looking at waist beads, and he came up and he's like, Carly, hey, Carly. And I just ignored him like my life depended on it, because it did. I ignored the shit out of him until he walked away. And I was just like, and then my friend came over and I was like, oh my God, that was him. And that was the day that I realized I'm just too nice to men, even when they make me uncomfortable. And that needed to change.
Which one of these had your jaw on the floor? I'll let you know mine in the comments, and let me know yours too. And don't forget to subscribe. I have weekly videos coming, and I'll see you next time, gossipers. Bye.